Aldo Leopold, when he wrote his land ethic, began that chapter discussing the story of the ancient Greek general Odysseus, who, upon returning from the wars, thought his slave girls to be unloyal, and he hanged them all. And the point of him telling the story was not because they were without ethics. No, they had ethics, the ancient Greeks, and they granted consideration to a number of beings, but not to slaves. They were just chattel, they were just property, and they weren't included in there. Why is he talking about this? Because he said he's talking about an expansionist circle of ethics. The idea that through incrementally we keep adding more people to the our ethical concern, to giving them universal consideration. Well, he's saying, why not include the land? Why not include the animals? Include the trees? And this is the expansionist circle of ethics idea. And that's why I'm here at Neighborhood Park. And I'm borrowing upon these steps here and the center to help us understand the idea of the expansionist circle of ethics. So, for some reason, it's probably something in an evolutionary impulse. We put the family and those closest to us right in the middle. Okay, we're right at the center. Those are people in our household. But through time, we gradually include on the next circle those near to us, friends, neighbors, maybe those in the villages not so far away, and then indeed more foreigners, people who we understand to be friends, we include them and give them universal concern, and so it goes on. Throughout time, a long time, too long, we eventually brought women and gave them universal concern. And then eventually, not all places, people who have different color skin, the people who have different sexual orientations, and they're included in the expansionist circle of ethics. So the idea is, through time, we will include more and more people. And Aldo Leopold said, if this is the case, let's get the trees in there, let's get the birds in there, let's get the wolves and the mountains in there. So this is a nice idea. And for the most part, it's not so bad, except there's a problem. And this is what two ethicists, Jim Cheney and Anthony Weston, were talking about. When you move in that realm, you have to come to an understanding why that person is brought into your circle. Why is that person indeed on that side, that level, and not that level? Or could you not just bring that person all the way down to a bottom level, way down there? Why? It's over to facts. What do we know about the person? We eventually know that women, people of color, people from Asian descent are just as intelligent and just as rational as the rest of us, the male, the white, and so we include them. And he says there's a problem there, because it gives universal consideration to that only which we know, or we think we know. And they're talking about animals. In fact, they gave an experiment. They gave, or rather, a case scenario where it was at an animal training facility, where the researchers were walking in and out doing their research, and they're making the animals, the chimpanzees, feel really uncomfortable, where the trainers had this 360-degree understanding of what's going on. They were in tune with the animals, and they approached the animals in a totally different way, and the animals were far more comfortable with these handlers. Why? They started not with what the animals knew, or what we knew about the animals, rather. They started with, I'm going to just love you. I'm going to take care of you. So they say, in fact, they found the animals were far more responsive to the handlers than to the researchers who were treating the animals as numbers, as objects. Do we need to know what the animal can do, what the subject can do, what it can feel before we give it universal consideration. And that's the question they're asking. That's a question that Leopold didn't ask, but I'm asking us right now. Now, Leopold said we just got to give everything that love and compassion and respect and admiration. Okay. But Cheney is saying, but we do it not because we know it's something, but just because it is. This is not the first time such a land ethic of starting with love, admiration, and respect. We saw it with Albert Schweitzer about 100 years ago, and he came up the idea of reverence for life. You've seen it long before that with the Jains and the Buddhists, the religious idea of compassion to all life. And you've seen it with Thomas Berry when he says, let's start with understanding the universe is a communion of subjects, not a collection of objects. In all cases, their starting point is different. Let's start with love. It's a nice idea. Now, it brings you to still a question. The problem hasn't been resolved. Where are you going to put those people in the circle? Do you put them on those higher, lower, or do you put them all together on one line? Aldo Leopold said, humans have to become just plain members and citizens of the biotic community. Maybe he's onto something.